G'day, my name's Darryl Webb. Today we're going to have a quick little look at an American defence manufacturing one-piece QD scope mount. We'll have a look at what you sort of get in the packet with it, and besides that we'll get in close so you can actually see it and how it works. But then I'm just going to do a quick little talk about, it'll be a short video, about how the thing actually works. How it comes back to zero perfectly, because that's the most important bit of having, when you have a thermal scope. Unless you're lucky enough to have a scope for every firearm, you need a good reliable mount so you can change it from one firearm to the other. And I'll tell you why this one's a really suitable one. Anyway, let's get into this video. Well, I don't have the original box that it came in, but long story short, don't mind the scope, but it's the one-piece mount. It came with some thread locker. Come with a couple of stickers and the tool you need for the Allen keys, which is just to fit these Allen keys. It has got a QD auto lock system. If you're sort of interested in that, you can pause that there and have a look at it. But that's one of the things I've liked about it, because it's toolless, and once you've sort of worked it out, it's really quick and easy for to swap from gun to gun. So, let that autofocus come on. So essentially, looking over it, you can see it's 4 screws on each ring facing back out. They go through, there's a bottom plate. So it's sort of like a base with an upright, and these clamp on to each other and the upright at the same time. The system works really good, and I've found it very repeatable. You can see on the bottom, it's nice thick squared off pieces to drop into your Picatinny rail, and the unlock way is just as simple as that. And this is one of the things I like about it, because not all Picatinny rails are the same. When you want to adjust it, you just press that in like that, spring loaded, very positive, and you can just apply a little bit more tension. That's about the only thing you have to watch out, is just to make sure that that lines back up with a hole, with the bolt hole. You don't want it sort of like halfway, because then it sort of sits out. You can see that there. But you're going to line it up quite easy, and flip it over and see what the tension's like. And that's probably, I think, is the secret to it, is the fact that it's just so simple to do, and it's quickly adjust from one Picatinny rail system to the other. General finish and everything on it is it's sort of like a chalky matte black. It's quite nice. It doesn't seem to mark up easy or anything like that. It doesn't feel cheap. You can see there's like differences in the actual finish on some products. Some products got a feeling more like they might be high tensile steel rather than certain types of steel. And they just have a slightly different finish on there. A bit like some firearms, different bits of steel will have different finishes on them, but that's what they look like. So they're all in all, sort of got the little QD auto lock system there, made in the USA, American Defence Manufacturing. I've been really good with them. Pleasantly surprised, and so repeatable, back to zero. Pros and cons. We'll start off with cons. I couldn't sort of find anything that sort of jumped out. About the only thing I'd say is, I hadn't used this type of mount before, where it's sort of 2-piece that comes around either side. It was a little bit different to mount up. It wasn't really a con. Once I'd done it once, I'm sure I could do it again quite quickly this time. It took a little bit of fiddling to get it just right the way I wanted it, but that was about the only con. Pros. Well, we'll go over a couple of the main ones. This quick detach system is very repeatable, and it's very easy to adjust it to different Picatinny rails. Now, I know Picatinny rails, they should in theory be all exactly the same, but when you're going with things with tight tolerances, you will find that there's slight differences. This one being toolless, I can put it to another firearm, and as I close it, it might be a little bit too tight or a little bit too loose. I can quickly just release it, press it in, and add or remove a tiny piece of pressure, and then lock it. So in the field, even in the dark, in the rain, whatever it is you're doing, I found it very, very easy to switch from one firearm to the other and get a good positive lock. The other pro is the return to zero ability. You can get these guys in different sizes to suit different scopes. This is one quite long, and this is made for certain types of scopes that are a bit longer. But you get to have that nice wide angle out for this particular one, so it's not in really close, but then it's got a small mount across the bottom of the length, so you can actually get a lot of movement backwards and forwards on your firearm. And when that all seems to work so well, you get bang on precision. I'll go as far to say that even on things like my 223, where it's not uncommon to shoot much further distances, I don't even bother to check the zero on this firearm anymore. I put it on, I change it to the profile of my 223, and when I have tested it, it's bang on. It's not within an inch of where it was, it's right where it was. It's like you've left it on there. So that's a big important part. We'll let that roll into the conclusions. When you've played around with a few different type mounts, you know, we've all heard that saying, the poor man buys twice. I have had some units that were cheaper. I've had some that are probably similar in price like this, and I actually got reasonably good results out of them, even the cheaper ones. It was fine for like a 22 long rifle where I'm not really shooting much past 100 meters, and it was perfectly acceptable for like a PCP air rifle where I'm sort of within 60 or 70 meters is a far shot with that. But once I got into the 17 HMR longer shots, or particularly once I put it onto like something with a bit of legs like a 223, where your shots may be all the way out to 350, 400 meters, if the gun was off just by an inch, all of a sudden at 300 meters, it's, you know, it might be shooting 3 inches to the left. I'm not saying that's a total miss on a fox-sized target, but sometimes it is, and it definitely doesn't make your life any easier. So if you're regularly switching to firearms that you're shooting greater distances at, you do need to get a good, very repeatable zero. And this one's delivered it. So that would be my conclusion. If you're shooting and you want to say exactly like the point of aim perfectly, check out the American Defense Manufacturing stuff. So there is a website, I believe he's got a website now, Craig over at GoThermal. That's who I got this from. He's definitely a little bit different. Some of the equipment he has, I don't see it many other places. He goes out of his way to find things that are very useful to the Australian market, and not just copies of what everyone else is doing. He seems to get good quality gear, which in the firearms world is sort of what you need, especially when you're playing around with things like thermals and switching the firearm and needing good return to zero. I'll put Craig's details in there, and I'll maybe put a link to where you can check this stuff out if you're interested in it. And I'm pretty lucky because I get to use lots of different gear because of this YouTube channel. You know, I've worked with Infrared and Knockpicks, and now currently I'm working with Thermtech, and I get to play with stuff that's even before it comes out sometimes. And I often get brands and companies reach out to me, but some of the stuff never makes it onto my YouTube channel because it just isn't very good. But every now and then you come across something like this, and this American Defense Manufacturing stuff, and some of the other products I've got from Craig as well have been really surprising and very, very practical for our Australian market. So I highly recommend, if you want a good return to zero, check this out, and maybe hit Craig up and let him know you've seen a review on my channel of it, and I'm sure he'll look after you because he's a distributor. Anyway, on that note, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more stuff like this, and even some occasional hunting videos, if you check out my channel, there's some hunting videos in there too, where you get to see some of this stuff in action. Hit the subscribe button. Anyway, bye for now.